This is episode 23 of the Remix Your World podcast with Alan T. Welcome to Remix Your World. I'm Allison Kalagna, global DJ and music producer turned life remixer and personal growth coach. In each episode, we bring you real talk, inspiring stories, and heartfelt conversations of personal transformation to help you uplift and amplify your life. This is the Remix Your World podcast. If you've been around the Miami club scene, you know Alan T. He's flamboyant, loud, aggressive, charming, and funny all at the same time. He has to be. He deals with throngs of people trying to get into the city's brightest hotspots. He has to hear, but I know so-and-so, and he told me I was on the list about 100 times every night. So you can't blame him for being curt with patrons. However, unlike the French doormen that litter Miami Beach's nightclubs, Alan T puts on a show, sometimes with a loudspeaker, to amplify the insults he throws at people. Currently, he works for Space on Saturday, but he's been around working the doors for spots such as Pawn Shop Lounge and Nocturnal. In addition to being a doorman, he's also a house music vocalist. He has the Discogs page to prove it, and he holds a master's degree in architecture from Columbia University. He's basically a nightlife renaissance man. Still, Alan T's greatest talent is making those club doors much more interesting. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh yeah! What's up, world? You're listening to me, Allison Kalagna, episode 23 here, and today we are talking to Alan T, the most famous club doorman in the world. How does one even become that? Well, we'll get into it and talk about his life in music, his art, his triumphant win over cancer, and a lot of other funny spill the tea moments, because you can't have a name like Alan T and not spill the tea. You know what I'm saying, Hunty? Okay. So Alan and I go back to the early days when I was in Miami, where I met him at Y&T, the record shop. And we worked together in clubs and parties dozens of times. And what he is known for is just being loud and creative and these costumes and these outfits and being this big, huge personality in club world. And what I loved about today's conversation is that mask kind of got stripped off and we just got really real and had a really sweet, loving, friendly conversation as if we just picked up the phone and just chatted. So we talk about everything from him overcoming cancer to marathon sets with Danny Tenaglia and Yoko Ono, and everything in between, right? So it's a great conversation. I have a feeling this is just part one of two. I'm sure there's much more that we could talk about. But without further ado, here's my conversation with Alan T. So just a heads up, we are about 3 weeks away from my first CIJ class of 2019. You're going to hear me talk a lot about it on this podcast because I fucking love it and I love teaching it. And it has made a huge difference in my life and my students' life. So if you are interested, www.remixyourworld.com/CIJ. And you can find out all the information there. And if you are looking for stuff to help you with goals, I have a free goal setting guide that I would love to send you also. This is going to help you get really clear on one particular goal that you really want to work through. And then you have the system to do this with other goals. If you're interested in that, remixyourworld.com/21. So again, if you head over to remixyourworld.com, you can find all of that information. I'd love to talk to you about CIJ if you think that you are interested and you're ready to up-level and uplift and amplify your life, then I'm here for you, and maybe CIJ is the path for you. Hit me up and let me know, and we'll talk about it. Now, on with the show.
My God, are we doing this?
Oh my God, we are doing this. Hold on.
Hey!
Hold on, let me give you.
I can see you better.
I know, I've got a chair. There it is. Hi.
Here I am in the shade of a palm tree.
As you should be, honey. As you should be in the shade. Okay. Well, I'm happy that we finally connected. We've been trying to do this for a hot minute, but
long overdue.
And you've been busy. I mean, it amazes me and how busy you have been and during that whole time, and you were still doing.
I wasn't going to let it succumb, my energy.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to let it take over. I had to had to be beaten.
Yeah.
It was an unwanted bitch at the doorstep.
Yes. Cancer is not always welcome.
No, and that's my specialty. Unwanted bitches. so they stay anyway. I don't know. I don't deal with it.
Wow.
I have a lot under me when I'm working. I kind of delegate it.
So, well, let's rewind the record though a little bit, because most people listening obviously know who you are. But like, I want to know about little Alan. Like, where did you grow up? Where were you from?
Up here at this property here. I live in the house I was born in.
Wow, really?
I did those trees when I was 7 years old. The bottle brush, those trees right there.
Wow.
The weeping willow type. It's called the bottle brush. Which way does it see? You see that way, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I see that way.
Yeah. I'm not millennial. I'm not like David Vance or any of those kids. At Kiki's doing selfies all night. But no, I live in the house I was born in. This exact house. Yeah. I inherited the house, and when my mom had a heart attack, she's 97. She lives up the road on 54th at the Jewish old folks home. Mm. It's Douglas Gardens, they call it the Jewish Center. But the Italians and Jews stick together,
They do, yep.
Stick together. We like nice things and we like to eat. That's the way I look at it. I grew up here. I used to frolic on those islands there. It was a very natural life. I mean, we had 5 boats here when I was a kid. I have 1 now, but it was very natural. We'd camp out, I'd swim back in the nighttime. I'd fish for sharks. I fish for stone crabs. Before Batman every morning, I would catch Jack on the wall without even a line and bait, just reaching in. And I went to private school. I hung out on the other side of the tracks always. I mean, I live off of Biscayne Boulevard, which in the 80s and 70s was pretty rough. Mm. Even though this is like, luxury area, it's like rough,
Right.
It's like New York. You go 2 blocks in here in the hood. And I was like the hood. I like the music. I like the people. I liked it. I still to this day like the ethnicity. I'm the anti-segregation person.
Yeah, yeah.
So what is this? Bottle brush. And that was it. I mean, it's pretty, basic. Not basic, but it was basic. It was very nature oriented. My family stayed married. My parents were together forever.
Yeah.
Divorced, but they were closer in divorce than they were in marriage. It was very strange. Mm. And it turns out like they actually divorced like 3 years ago, but right before my dad died, finally, like paperwork on paper,
Wow.
My dad lived right there where Danny lives in that brown building. Danny Tenaglia lives in that brown building there. Yeah. That's the Palm Bay Club. I found that apartment for him. And he's like a really good friend. He's a center for us for me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He speaks my language,
did you know, did you want art? Did you want music? What did you want growing up?
Well, my dad was a concert pianist and a professional accordion player for Frank Sinatra, the Howdy Doody show at WIOD. I was named after Alan Courtney. I was almost born on the radio show that he was hosting. But he went to Yale Music School. My family's from Connecticut. My dad's side, my mom was from the Bronx. She's actually from the same street as Benny Soto, if you know who he is. Yeah. On Tinton Avenue. So I had like a New York part and then a Connecticut part. And then they moved here to escape the cold and pursue my dad's piano business, which he had the largest piano factory in the country.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was 4 corners of 54th Street. He had 17 stores from Marathon to West Palm Beach, pre-fax, pre-email, pre-cell phones. He was very driven and he was a very big provider. He was very book friendly. The music thing was hard because he didn't want to hear music in the house. Per se. I mean, we had to study piano and what have you and master that, but he didn't want to hear it because he did it all day.
Right.
So it was kind of like a thing that I did on my own. And I actually was always like starring in all the, plays in school, naturally the usual routine for people that are into the music portion of their childhood. Fiddler on the Roof, Pied Piper, I always had the lead. And it took like a message from somebody, a producer on an answering machine for a Jody Watley remix to get it going. It kind of like, it all stemmed from a message on a machine.
Wow.
And I was hanging out, that was in like the Liquid era. I was hanging out with Joe Odyssey and Frankie Knuckles and all those. I mean, Danny was a really good friend. Y&T, I worked at Y&T with Todd Saunders.
Yeah.
And we were there every night, like going crazy, listening to white labels and stuff. And then I was hanging out with Ellis Mia, who works a lot with RuPaul now. Beyonce, and he wrote a lot of Kevin Ambiance. He's a true writer. He's a true musician. He was sleeping on my couch, and he's like, "Hey, we got to get you in the studio." So they got me in the studio, and that just like went like the stream of consciousness and the rapid fire dialogue just took off.
Right.
So it just like from that, so many samples. I mean, to this day, they're still sampling that. I mean, it's insane.
What was the first?
The first was "Come and Get It" on SFP. It was a Jody Watley remix. Do You Want It? Come and Get It.
Right.
Get it. It was, I'm not going to mention the person's name who did it because I'm not talking to him anymore, but it's whatever. Mike Mucci. I mean, he's whatever. He's very difficult. I mean, he proved himself in the music industry. He was so solid, but he was so difficult. His personality is so difficult that it's counterproductive. And I think with all the hurdles we have already in the music industry, I mean, you can't get the licensing and the thises and the that's and the bootlegs, and it's like that doesn't come into play.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. I mean, and he's not in it any longer, but he was a very solid producer, I must say. And he started me out. I mean, from that, they're still sampling to this day. That session, when Danny heard it, he was like, wow, this is like gold. I was going off on like people and places and classics, and doing covers. I was like going through it. And it was a 4-hour session. And I actually went at Sexelia. Remember Sexelia?
Yes.
Pagan? Anniversary was yesterday. Rest in peace. I miss her every day. I had moved her out of her apartment on South Beach, which was a tumultuous period. I mean, that was like the heyday of the partying. And she had been like, carrying on and couldn't move. And I moved her and I was exhausted. I'm like, put her to bed on my couch. I said, putting you to bed. I'm going to bed. And she's like, no, you're going to this session. You have to go to this session. It's going to change your life. And she was right.
Wow.
That session did change my life. I mean, I'm an architect by profession. That's my first and foremost. I went to undergrad at UM, and then I went to Columbia. I went to the AA in London. I've been around. I mean, I've traveled.
Yeah, you were in Italy for a while.
I lived in Italy for 12 years. I met my first lover in '89, and I was there for 12 years. And I moved back to Miami and got a lot of really big commissions. I had my own office in Italy. I did very, very well. I worked for the mob, doing like laundering money, spending a lot of money on renovations. It took off like wildfire. I made a fortune. I dabbled with the fashion thing for Dolce & Gabbana, Energy, Miss 60. I did a lot of textile work. And that I fell madly in love for the second time in Italy. First time I was here. I mean, I was married at 15 pretty much.
Really? So you were out early then?
Yeah, I was when I came out of the womb, I was like, I had the pride flag. Didn't even have pride flags back then. It was just like, my umbilical cord was like, woo, woo, woo. I was full on. I was doing hurdles and skipping rope.
Yeah.
I don't regret any of it. I mean, I didn't get bullied. I was always very, strong, so they didn't fuck with me.
Yeah.
I was like the anti-bully machine. I mean, I was like the protector of everybody.
That's what I was too, the super bully. If there was a bully, I was picking on the bully.
Yeah, I was like bad because I had like a lot of street smart in my like Sassoon jeans and clog feathered hair moments. I was like super like daddy. I was like super boy, I had like long blonde hair, blue eyes. I was with Eileen Ford models. I modeled. So they didn't really mess with me, and I was very popular. So they definitely didn't screw with me.
Yeah. But
there was always those, those ones who were like trying it, but I let them have it.
I'm sure.
They picked up girls like the fat girl with the red hair, the freckles. She was like, in my posse. And we did videos, B-52 videos. We were so punk rock. I mean, we would go with we would go to school with like Dayglow socks on with no shoes. Like we were like crazy with pointed tips. I mean, we were so wild. I was like shopping at Fiorucci and crazy. That was my first club right there where Danny lives. There was my first club, and Richard McVeigh was the DJ. Wow. Bill Kelly's lover. Best time. Oh my God. It was like roller disco on Wednesdays and Friday nights and Saturdays. It was like Ralph Rennick, Cloris Leachman. It had all the celebrities because my best friend Ferdy, who lived in that house there, his dad was Muhammad Ali's doctor.
Wow.
We met everybody. His dad just died a few months ago, but he was really famous. He was on NBC Sports and he was the fight doctor. I mean, he's the one who made Muhammad Ali.
Wow.
So it was a pretty precocious upbringing, but it was very grounded. I mean, we always ate at home. I mean, we were very, my family, my parents would go to like the Fontainebleau and be exhausted. My dad was like, you're going to hate working at night. You're going to hate the nightlife because it's because he worked in the morning.
Yeah.
So I'm a morning person to this day because it depends on me. I wake up at 5:36, and even if I go to bed late,
Yeah.
But I'm a sleep freak. I love sleep.
That's good. I was gonna ask you, because.
Oh no. I'm like nap after lunch. I'm already making lunch. I'm making pesto farfalla.
Nice.
Probably lentil soup, and I'll nap. But I'm big on sleep. I'm very big on sleep.
Yeah, I'm a fan of it. I love a nap.
80s. Oh, I know. I'm sure you do. Colorado's scream. Latino girl.
It's so funny. It's like, because when I go to a city, I come back here and it's like the tempo is so different, and it's like,
it's very chill too. I mean, I think it's the Latin infusion that makes it seem neurotic and the Cuban coffee and all that, but they're pretty chill basically. I mean, you see them like, letting their hair down and relaxing, like come the holidays and stuff. I mean, it's their energy that seems much more animated than they are. Because they're very bourgeois and they're very lackadaisical, I should say. I mean, they don't really give very many fucks about anything.
No fucks given.
They don't. They really don't. I mean, there's peach-faced lovebirds flying.
Aww.
I'm very nature-oriented. When I travel, I like to do you might see in my travels, I like to go into the mountains. I like to hike. I'm not into like excess baggage with like people.
Yeah.
Can't deal with it.
No, and I love that. And most people probably would not know that about you, So I think that's awesome. Because I remember you were just in Joshua Tree, right?
Yeah, I was just in Joshua Tree, and I had my suitcase left with all the drag from Pride because the glamourati has to come out sometime, and then or the glamazon, I should say. And then I just left it in my trunk, and I had an RV in Joshua Tree, and it was insane. It's called the Love Egg. Airbnb. It was the best thing I've done in a long time. I just would crawl inside this egg and sleep.
Oh.
And we'd go hiking, and it was like 20 minutes. If I wanted to go see Morgan McMichaels for dinner, I could in Palm Springs, or I went to see Tony Moran and Patty at Jen Trent's house for a barbecue. It was like 30 minutes. It's like insane. I love Palm Springs. I'm a huge fan. I just discovered it like 3 years ago. I just discovered it.
Wow.
You've been out there, right?
I have, but it's been a while. I've never played White Party. I was out there.
I've never been to that. All the years Jeffrey Sanker invited me to go, I was like mostly touring in like Japan, and I was doing like big gigs, So it was like that whole Flavio, Paloma, but they never even saw Palm Springs because they were all partying so much and doing all that. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
I'd love to go to Palm Springs. I mean, to Joshua Tree.
In a couple of weeks. It's in February.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. I mean, they unleash like a lot of like unseen properties and so forth. It's such a place of hidden gems, and naturally the history of its debauchery is endless. I mean, everybody lived there. Everybody partied there. Dean Martin, Lucille Ball, you name it. Tab Hunter. There's a good documentary called Teddy.
Okay.
A guy who ran a brothel out of a gas station in LA in the 40s. And he's just kissing and telling. Now everybody's dead. I mean, but it was like the king and queens and this and that. He hooked them all up at the gas station.
Wow.
It was, definitely Palm Springs, but I mean, it's insane. The movie, you got to see it.
Right,
It's
I'll
really
watch
good.
it. I'll watch it.
Wild. It's like very post-war. I mean, he wasn't gay, he wasn't straight. He was just hooking people up, and he didn't get paid for it. He wasn't a pimp, but he made like $20 here, $30 there, and people have houses in like Beverly Hills from that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 3 guys and 1 girl, and it was like very innocent. It wasn't like considered prostitution per se, but
yeah. Yeah.
But it's a label now, you know. So
everything is. So how did you get to be like in the? I mean, you're pretty much like the most famous door person. Like, well, how did that even come about then?
I went to a pawn shop. It didn't happen that long ago. I mean, I guess it was people equated with the title of the song that was so big and
okay,
like number one.
So
for
the
like
song, so the song came first, not from you working the door.
I did that song.
Oh,
I was just really popular at the clubs, and I did the song. And it was like so on point that it kind of like, you know, form following function.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of like it was like, you know, kind of the inverse. It was like function following form, me doing it.
Yeah.
So it was actually putting it out. I mean, it was based on like Liquid and Marcello and the Large Hairdos, a freight elevator. No other club had a freight elevator that I knew.
Mm.
Liquid had an elevator, which is where Score is now. And calling out the people. But I went to the pawn shop with Danny Tenaglia and Tracy Young and Diego Martinelli.
Mm.
And they said to me, the marketing director goes, I need you here to like dissect the people. I was like, all right, let's do it. That was like 99, 2000.
Mm.
I had done a few like, you know, hosting. I hosted a lot of parties. I mean, I was a host at Liquid on Sundays and Groove Jet for Danny's parties. I did do the ropes at Danny's VIP events at Groove Jet, which was always like the parents of like That Kid Chris or John Digweed.
Right.
Or now Sasha's grandmother. It was really funky. Like when like Miami was at its prime and all those people, the Snowbirds would come down and bring their entourage, and the entourage wasn't necessarily kids. It was like, you know, parents and family members and that type of thing. You know, it was like in the freezing cold at like Groove Jet and on the patio, like hosting people's family, you know, and just like having like holding court, you know?
Yeah. The first time I heard Sasha was at Groove Jet.
Oh my God. Sausage and pig feet. I love them. Especially Sasha is really technical, super technical. Yeah, but they were like all there, like, you know, it was like that whole. And I would go up to Gainesville with Danny to what was the name of the place? Oh God, it's where everybody started. That's where all the New Breed CDs and the Global Underground
from like Balance and all that.
Oh no, what's his name? God, what's it?
It'll come to you.
It was in Gainesville. We did the closing party. It was insane. It was like a college town, and the line was around the block. The place was the size of my living room, probably. Mm. It was not that big. And Simon's.
Okay.
And it was huge, and it was like, you know, all the pretty much the trance guys played there. Mm-hmm. All the Global Underground CD people. That's where they booked them from. I mean, it was like, that's where they got the acclaim. Yeah. People don't know that. It was so big. And Danny used to play there, and I would go there and hang out with him. And then it like wound up me doing the DJ booth door. It kind of like was from people I knew, you know? Right. Yeah. But Pawn Shop was where it started. Like, that's where the glamourati was, like Paris Hilton and Puff Daddy. And I did a lot of MTV work there. And that closed in 2008. Mm. And then I got hired at Space and Nocturnal, and then it just went from like, you know, everybody booking me, you know, all the Urge events with Hilton, and that's pretty much how it happened. But the original Space, I pretty much was just doing Danny's booth door. Mm. That's where that came from. With Yoko Ono, that was a heyday, though. That was,
oh my God, I remember when Yoko Ono, when he was at Space and she came in, and he just kept, you were on the microphone, legend alert, there's a legend coming.
She was insane. We had 3 record boxes. Remember the height of those. She was so short. But, I mean, and she fell in love with my little brother, actually.
Wow.
Because he's like a blue-eyed, Aryan daddy type, Those were the days. Oh, my God. Yoko.
Yeah.
I mean, in the presence of Yoko Ono, I was like, oh, my God. My sister lived in your building, and I still never had met her.
Yeah, I've never met her. I mean, I've done remixes, but I've never actually met her.
A little bit of a brat. I mean, just her parents owned Sony. So, I mean, when she got to this country, she was pretending she was like a poor little hippie. That's like, the Japanese. They're good at that. Pretending. She was a professor at my sister's college, Sarah Lawrence, in Bronxville, New York. A lot of the reason of the way I am is because of my sister. She was much older than I am. But she lived in Manhattan. She went to Manhattan to study, and she got into all the best schools in the world. And she was a major center for. She knew Warhol, Brian De Palma, Waylon Flowers, Paul Jabara. She knew all those people, and I grew up with all those people.
Mm.
I mean, in New York, I go to Max's Kansas City and have a hamburger with Deborah Harry and Patty Smythe. I mean, it's like, wow. These people are writing about all the things that I lived. It's funny.
That's pretty amazing, though.
I was at all those parties. Robbie Leslie at the Saints. I mean, people don't realize that. I mean, how insane that was. It was like, I mean, people, consider South Beach early 2000s when like Abel had like 1,500 people on a slow night, like the pinnacle. But I mean, the Saint was 3,000 men and like 4 women, invited women, or were only allowed in, and it was insane. Doreen was there. She was one of my friends. I met Doreen in that era.
Wow.
Yeah. Doreen.
And who was playing at the Saint then?
Robbie Leslie, Sean Buchanan. Well, I was Roy Thode's assistant.
Okay.
And I found him dead pretty much from an overdose. But I was his assistant. I picked out the imports and stuff. So I was always involved in the music. Back then, I mean, it was insane, like the imports and like rock and roll. It was infused. Like you'd hear Van Halen, you'd hear Bruce Springsteen, you'd hear The Cure, you'd hear The Stranglers, all that stuff. That's why I'm so big on the new wave. I'm doing a birthday party at the Peter Murphy concert February 6th, and that's how I'm really into like the rock.
Yeah,
I love just like hearing like Driving like Madness all the time. I can't.
Oh no, I hear you.
I need to go like, it's either that or like, Average White Band or, Isaac Hayes, movie soundtracks,
I love movie. I listen to a lot of movie soundtracks.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, I love them.
But Shaft and all that stuff. I love all that stuff. Car Wash. I love all that like funk. Like the real funk, the funk of 40,000 years.
Thriller. Okay. So I know it's impossible because there's been so many parties and so many things, but if you had to choose maybe your top 3 of all time experiences in a club, or a party, what do you think they are?
That's a really good question. A lot of the parties in the 80s are just like insane, but they're so hard to pinpoint them. Like all the Rock Leslie, like diva parties and the white parties, like those were like a big, those are big events. I would say Danny's parties at Space were definitely up there. There's a lot of them of recent that are pretty memorable. I mean, like for instance, like Art Basel with Solomon was like, wow,
yeah.
At Space, I mean, like he's like insane. I mean, Danny's like my boy, but like there's something about the sensuality of the vocals and stuff of like Solomon, like direction that's going, like that whole tech thing. But it's like much more like down tempo, which I it's really healthy. Like this driving 150 beat per minute stuff is just too much.
Yeah, no, I can't handle that.
I know you don't like that. So it's like to hear something that like, is played like after hours for me is like down tempo. I mean, people got this like driving. I mean, I think it's the young generation, the millennials. I think it's like up. You go up. You went up. You started out like low. You went up. You went down, and you stayed down. Yeah. You might have like a little bit up again, and then brought them down, but you went pretty far down. I mean, remember Quaaludes were big. People were going up. They were going up and then down.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to make drug references, but it's the best way to kind of count.
That's the truth, though. I mean, it was part of the culture. It will always be part of the culture. You know, it's.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, mind altering. You know, it doesn't have to be. It's like whatever. Some people consider mind altering having, you know, kitschy. I mean, you know, whatever. I mean, people think alkaline water is mind altering, so whatever.
Kombucha, man, you get you a good kombucha, and that shit will alter your mind.
Well, honey, you asked Tracy about that. I was like effervescent high. I was like, going through it.
The kombucha will do it. I love it.
The hippies nearby made it for me, and it was so effervescent that it went up in my nostrils. I had this like a rude awakening. I got so high. I was like, I hope I don't have to do a drug test or alcohol test. I'll get a DUI.
Oh, kombucha. I know. It's good stuff. I love it. So when did you find out about the C word then?
About the what?
Cancer.
Oh, the C word. Oh, that was, okay, the C word. All right, so like Gay Pride 2 years ago, I was in New York, and I was like, I had this lump under my arm. I was like, this is weird. And it's like something back in my mind, because my sister had Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Okay.
Back in the 80s, and she was like a big girl, and she lost a lot of weight. She was treating on her own with macrobiotics, though. So she did that, and she had that. And so I was like, you know, lymph nodes, you know, travel along. And, you know, she used to always tell me about the lymph node system. And I discovered like this lump, and it was like getting progressively bigger. I'm like, Camille, what should I do about this? And she's like, oh, well, you know, go check it out. That was the big problem, is checking it out.
Okay.
Because nobody is prepared to just do a biopsy.
Okay.
I was doing it externally. I was doing the dermatologists, like all the top dermatologists, and they're like, some of them told me, if it doesn't bother you, then don't get it. Don't worry.
Wow.
That's not the look.
Huh.
So then I had a friend who was good friends with the head of surgery of Mount Sinai, and I got in. I got into this like 6 months ahead of time. So I would be like 6 months behind. I was diagnosed in remission on June 2nd. That's my cutoff date. After Matinee Vegas last year, I went to Vienna, and that's my cutoff date. That's when I was diagnosed in remission.
Okay.
January 4th, I did the operation last year, and it took a lot to get the operation, just a biopsy. I went in for a draining of that actual surgery, which was a little node and what have you, like a mass.
Yeah.
It was the size of a lemon, he said, that he retracted.
It was the size of what?
A lemon.
A lemon. Wow.
And it was still, I was like, wow, is this ever going to go down? I look now at my underarm. I'm like, well, I can't believe that's all over. But anyway, so I went to have a drain. He's like, oh, did you get your results? I was like, no, I didn't. He was like, oh, you're doing great. You have the very curable cancer. I was like, what? I was like, honey, this isn't some bitch calling you a cunt at 4 a.m. and being cliche and give, you know, fierceness and combat. I was like, wow. So that took me back. So then I started like reaching out to people and stuff like that. And everybody just like, it just flowed. I mean, everybody was sending me RSO oils and Jody Vocalist, that special blend. People I had helped out years ago all came through like with all that treatment. So I did every witch doctor remedy you can imagine. Grated frozen lemons. I mean, this nature every day. I meditated. I still do. I did Reiki, Shiatsu, meditation, sleep, all green, strictly vegan.
Yeah, your diet changed immediately, right?
I did everything. Well, I mean, Italians are really big on the veg, so that was that big. But I mean, yeah, I was like, you know, I cut out the breads, I cut out the carbs, I cut out all that, the meat, everything.
Yeah.
Full on. I was juicing. I started with a juice service, and then I got into my own because mine are much better. Erin helped me out a lot. Visibly, you know, Erin.
Yeah.
She helped me out big time. She was like, she would make these like huge bags of juices with like 17 bottles or something. I was like, wow, girl, you're really coming through.
She's amazing. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, hers were really meaty and nutty, and they're so good. But she helped me out a lot. Everybody just like, I just like put it all into effect, and boom, it was gone. They're like, wow, you're like a record case.
Yeah.
Everybody Good luck with that. I wish her well.
What do you think attributed to that, though? You know, as it for it being so fast. You
Mindset.
know, yeah, totally.
I think that really has a lot to do with it. And I'm going to right. It's like, I think that's it. I mean, you can't let it combat you. Like people like, you know, staying home and like, you know, you're not going to work, are you? I'm like, I'm going to work, honey. I'm doing my schedule. I'm going the ocean every day. I'm doing the meditation. I did everything as per the Western world, and I did all the Eastern stuff too. So
yeah,
I think, you know, the mind has a very fast healing cycle. I mean, the body's has a fast, but your mindset is much faster, I think.
Yeah, if you're not in the state of like, I can, if you're walking around thinking this thing is going to beat me, then this thing will beat me. But if you are coming at it from, I will.
And just going into the chemo room, I was like, Tracy, Danny, Michael Goldstein, all my friends, Jaime Cardona, we were in there. We had a party. They're like, well, you guys are really too much. I'm like, hello, look at these people. They're like, you know, everybody's like, you know, there were some bad cases, I have to say. There's a lot of people who lost the battle.
What is it like getting chemo? So how does it? I mean, I've seen it. So like you have to sit in a chair completely still. Talk us through it.
It's very like Archie Bunker, you know, recliner type of thing.
Okay.
And they have a lot of like toxic snacks.
What's the toxic, like a Ritz
like,
cracker?
You know,
an Oreo?
Like, what?
An Oreo?
Oreo's pretty toxic. Well, not the cake, but the filling is. Yeah. Oreo's pretty toxic. Just like, you know, processed stuff. You know, it's whatever. It's the Western world. You know, you're lucky that they're giving these things. But
yeah,
it was you sit in a recliner, and they pump like for 4 or 5 hours. They pump fluids into you.
Wow.
And the bags say like, you know, it's not like a D Square T-shirt either. It says like toxic waste, and you know, it's like all that stuff. And it takes hours and hours to get the stuff from the pharmacy. Like 3 hours for it. 2.5 hours to get delivered.
Wow.
So you walk in at like 8 a.m. and you leave at like 4 o'clock or like 3, say. It's a lot of like, it's a waiting game. I mean, and it's very much like a processing line. You walk in, they have your wristbands ready. It's like a total assembly line. That's Mount Sinai was very, very good, I have to say. I mean, they don't ask for your IDs and your names again. They know who you are. They get to know who you are. It's very personal.
Yeah.
Personable, I should say, which is good. I mean, but like, you know, you see a lot of people, you know, it's just like going to like, you know, the Tubs or, you know, whatever, cruising or you know, going to the supermarket. You see people, you know,
yeah,
transgender, gay, you know, what have you, straight. You see them all. I mean, people from the club. The elevator opened, I knew like 2 drag queens. I was like, oh my God.
Uh-huh.
Where am I? I was like, and then I saw them at Space the next Saturday. I was like, can I ask you something? Are you getting treatment? They're like, you know, yeah, one had a tumor. She had a tumor in her anus. She had anal cancer. You know, people have like hardcore stories. I mean, there's people who have like the, you know, pancreatic that spreads really fast. It's like, mine was like a walk in the park. I mean, and they say that about that, but it's gotten to that point. I mean, my sister had a lot of really nauseating treatments back in the day, but now there's such stabilizing counter drugs, you know?
Yeah.
I only got nauseous twice, like bad, but I just went right for the marijuana, honey. I was like, come on, 420. Hear me out. Give me a little Jimi Hendrix. Give me a little Woodstock realness.
Yeah, man. The weed gets me way too paranoid. I can't. It gets me. I've tried. I mean, living here, it's like, you know.
I like this. I got into like the luscious.
CBD. Yeah.
Like the joints soaked in the oil. I mean, you guys probably have the sickest ones there. Oh my God.
I mean, and it's like it's on every. It's amazing here, you know. And we're about to Denver's going to be is on the bill to be the first city to actually legalize magic mushrooms for therapeutic reasons.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, my sister's involved heavily in in bipolar. She has a bipolar gallery foundation that she runs. It's a fountain gallery, and they take care of all artists with bipolar, and they're in ketamine.
Yeah, they have that here as well. They have MDMA administered therapeutic stuff here. It's amazing. I went to because I love breath work, and so I've done a lot of breath work where they're like 3-hour breath work sessions with live music, and I went to one that was cannabis induced, so I'd never done that before. I was like, I'll try it. Like I'm a fan of.
I can do anything to relax. As high strung as I am, I'm really good at just like turning off the lights. I'm like, boom. I fall asleep immediately. I sleep a lot. I knock out for a long time. It's important. The cannabis, I'm kind of like with you. I get like horny, paranoid, and stupid.
I get too paranoid. It doesn't work for me.
It's like I always feel like somebody's
watching me. Pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
I don't even know who I am in my life.
I think it's probably like part of it too is because when I used to smoke when I was younger, it could just be remnants of that kind of paranoia. I don't know, but I have so many friends that are in the industry. My best friend Jonas, his company is Mez Brand, so they're a huge vape company. They're a vape company here, and so I have all this to try. I've tried gummies, I've tried them, and it's just like just doesn't work for me.
Confidence.
What's that?
I ate like a whole entire gummy donut type of thing, and you're supposed to eat nobody instructed me on eating a fragment, so I was like whacked. I was like, whoa,
yeah,
here we go now. I was like Dennis Jackson in slow motion. It was bad.
Yeah, I tried one gummy. I had one of my friends, he gave me, it was like the size of, maybe you remember those Teddy Grahams? Yeah. Those little Teddy Graham bears. It was like about the size of that. And he's like, just eat the head. And I'm like, dude, I'm not eating the head. I'm eating the ear. I'm going to just eat the ear and see what happens. And I was to the floor. I was just like, wow. I was like, yep, nope, can't do this. This doesn't work.
That's the same thing with the remedy, the formula that he prescribed for me, Jody. It was, I forgot the name of his dispensary, but
you gotta let me know. I'd love to go meet him one day.
A drop of the THC for like sleep or what have you. Mm-hmm. One like it can. I just thought that the THC was going to help in conjunction with the CBD. There's something about it. It said that the formula would probably be a little bit more amped up if I did it that way. And it's true, it did. So he sent me some of that to sleep, and it was like, wow. I stayed awake on it. I was like, woo. My life on television turned to like creature feature. It was like, woo, this is too much. I thought that I did something else. I was like wondering, but it's very condensed. That's the thing.
Yeah. So,
people must be chilled out there.
Yeah, it's pretty. I love Colorado. People are pretty chill. So for me, I was really going through it, and I was in a pretty dark space and a heavily depressed, suicidal. I was just not in a good place in Miami. And when I was I was hearing a lot in my meditation, go to Colorado, go to Colorado, go to Colorado, go to Boulder specifically, go to Boulder. And I was like, what the fuck is this Boulder? I'd never even really heard of it. I didn't know. So I'd booked a gig in Denver and I was like, all right, I'm going to go check out Boulder now because I keep hearing this in my meditation. And I went and it just felt like home. I was like, oh my God, this is where I need to be. And so I stayed in Miami, I guess probably, at that time I was in Fort Lauderdale. So I stayed in Lauderdale for probably another year. And then stuff just kept happening and it just kept pointing me to go. And I sold everything and I left. And I knew I had to come out here. And so I've been out here pretty much ever since.
I need to come. That's going to be my next trip after Montreal.
Nice. Yeah.
Nina always says, come.
Yeah, you should come. You would love it. We'll go hiking. There's so much to do.
No, I know there is. I know there is. I love all the cool weather and everything.
Yeah, it was the best decision that I ever made for myself. You know, it's funny because every decision had been made strictly on music. I'm going to go to Miami for music. I'm going to do this for music, like so much. And Colorado was the first thing that I chose for my soul. It didn't.
Yeah, that's the pinnacle. That it trickles down. It's like the hierarchy of needs: yourself and then the rest. I mean,
Yeah.
You build on the basis of your foundation. And if your foundation is rocky, then you need to reevaluate.
Yeah, and it was amazing. I mean, I got all the help I needed. Like so many amazing healing and therapists and modalities that are done here. You know, it's just like everything that you can imagine. It's such a mecca of personal growth and development here. And I needed it. You know, I needed to heal. So I'm grateful for it. Yeah.
Ocean does that for me though, a lot.
What does?
The ocean.
The ocean.
The mountains.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just nature force. I think I'm Aquarius, so I'm very water driven. But even in the mountains, there's water. So, you know.
I think the nature just reminds us of like, man, we're so little.
Yeah. It just, it puts you into perspective. It puts everything into perspective, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
what do you think you learned the most about yourself through overcoming cancer?
I'm a tough bitch.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm pretty positive, so that's not a new thing though for me. I mean, I'm always like half full.
Mm-hmm.
As people can think I sound on records and belittling it. It's just very catty nuance. I mean, it's not like profound. It's not like they're like, oh my God, I thought you'd be such a bitch. I mean, you come across Athena Calderon said that to me when she first met. She's like, oh my God, I thought you'd be like the 7 foot tall black drag queen that was like really nasty. Like, oh,
but that's part of the persona too. That doesn't have to be who you are.
People who appear to be bitchy on television and movies, and they're not at all. I mean,
was it difficult for you to receive the amount of support and outpouring of help? Were you able to?
No, because I'm a big team player. So it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Bring it on. Yeah. But I was amazed at the outpouring here. It's amazing. It's like, wow. It's like not just like a number of likes or, followers and all that stuff, but people who have come up to me and told me, I can tell you, I can't even count on all my hands and my feet how many people have come up and said that I was like a catalyst in getting them through their mom's cancer or their dad's. I know people who are like suicidal over somebody else's, not even their own.
Right. Yeah.
They're like, wow, you know what? I have to like tell you, people Instagram me and Facebook me, message me all the time. I mean, saying, that today my dad tested positive remission. He's in full remission. And thanks to you, I was able to get through it. And that means a lot. It's not, it's an influencer in a different kind of way. It's not like, buying a product or, something like that, commercial. It's pretty profound. People tell you that you got to do that. I mean, it's pretty heavy duty,
Yeah, you've definitely been an inspiration, though. I mean, I think most people too, even like
outfits and like acting crazy and the bullhorn and this and the glamorous and celebrities, and then when you like something like that, and you're like able to ground them and help them out, it's a big thing.
Yeah,
I mean, Flavia's like, wow, that's like your legacy.
Yeah. So when you become like the character and you grab, how does it? Is it soon as like you get dressed, like because like who you are now, like this is you and at your soul, right? And then like then there comes this moment when you have to go and you're on. Is there like a ritual or? It's
like it starts with getting dressed and then getting on and putting the batteries in the bullhorn. Or it's not always there anymore, but I mean, because of the noise ordinances and stuff and the code enforcement. But it's like, it's like a whole context thing. I mean, it's like the people and especially the young generation that a lot of them don't even know who I am.
Right.
I mean, they've gotten to know who I am. Like like in vast numbers from like doing like these like Dirty Bird events and what have you.
Yeah.
But I'm not even really that big on the systems. I mean, they play a lot of my tracks and stuff, but like it's more like like the Lula stuff and samples of other people's. I mean, because I'm sampled like retardedly. It's like unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they don't even put the name to the face. Like you would think they would, but they don't. I mean, they're not as smart as back in the day. But I mean, it's like I come alive with like Danny and people like that. Victor, people. All you guys. You, Abel, all those people that they were there for the whole ride. You know what I mean? From soup to nuts. I mean, I was pretty much a dance floor patron that just blew up.
Yeah. Yeah.
A house band. I mean, nothing to do with a house set, really.
Yeah, I think we met at Y&T. I think that's where I first met you.
I was just remembering that this morning. I was like, trying to look at the point. Yeah.
Yeah. And
then we like hooked up a lot at Griffin when you were the Griffin, and we were talking a lot about your direction. I remember those times, and you did a few really good events at Griffin. That was fun. Griffin was fun.
It was a good place. Yeah.
It was like a little cave inside that madness of like the Hard Rock. It was like they could stay open all hours, and the Indians owned it. It was like, wow. I left there times at like 4 PM, like it was all good.
Damn.
Totally all good. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. So what do you want to take from this, and what do you see moving forward in terms of health and creativity?
Now, I mean, I've pretty much achieved all my dreams. I mean, I shouldn't say that, but it's true. I've done them. I've ridden this wave to the max, and it can only be better. I mean, look at that. Look at those birds. Insane. I don't know. I'm alive. I'm here. Yeah. I'm kicking. I'm cancer free. I'm healthy. I'm positive. I have a roof over my head. I have food on the table. I have great friends. I have a job. I have a lot of jobs. I have a lot to look forward to. And this is it. Yeah. This is me. This is it.
I love that. If you were to be known for one word, what would you want it to be?
Fierceness.
Yes. I used to have the doormat. My doormat.
This is fierceness. There's people who meet me who walk up to me and they go, "Oh, your fierceness is fierceness is fierceness is fierceness is fierceness."
My doormat, Michelle and Karen made me the fierceness is always welcome doormat.
Need another one. Those girls, the speaker tweakers, I live for them.
Yeah, they are speaker tweakers. I love them.
Wild. They used to write Tracy these long letters, and we would take them home and read them. Like it was like cryptic encoding. I used to live for them. They're good people.
Yeah, they are. They are. Have you seen them at all? They're out in Reno.
No, I haven't seen them at all.
Yeah. We connect on Facebook, but I haven't been out that way yet.
Reno's amazing. The West is really amazing. I mean,
Go west, life is peaceful there.
West. I think they meant something different. They were chasing like lube or drugs or something. People. But my God, we were doing this. I can't believe it. I'm like here in the open air.
I know. This is good. Well, I'm really glad that we finally got a chance to talk because
my Skype cherry.
I did. I like to pop people's cherries. It's good for me.
Danny, that's all the time. It's like a big thing like with Italy, like early 2000, wasn't it? Yeah.
Mm.
Skype. When did Skype come around?
I feel like I had Skype actually when I was still in Florida. So at least, I mean, it's been a while because then Microsoft bought them. Yeah. I mean, I'm a fan of the Skype. I love it. This is how I do all of the podcasts. And
I mentioned that we were going to do it on Skype, and people were like, "Can't you do it on WhatsApp?" I'm like, "Girl, we're not like recording. This is like serious business, girl.
No, I need to record you." This is how I do work with my clients too, through Skype or through webinars. So I love it.
And your headquarters looks amazing.
What does?
Well, I have to send you some objects from my collection.
Please.
I will definitely. I collect street signs. I've been making all these like bowls out of old records. They're really fun.
Nice. Yeah, I need to come back and visit and hang
Yeah,
out.
a lot since you were here. I think it's gotten more of a prevailing like work ethic. I think you will. It's not so.
I need to come back and visit. Yeah, I'll come and visit you. How was Art Basel?
Oh, that's just like insane. It's taken over everything. It's like the center for the world, I think, here. And we were open 5 days straight. So I worked like 27 hours of a 24-hour day.
What is the gallery that you're at?
I'm not there anymore. I do a lot of freelance work with specific artists like A-Hole, Sips Glue, like that.
Got it.
That was just like, she was too much of a monopolizer. It's like I could do my own. It was all about me anyway. So it's like, little man. But my house is like the gallery. It's like I have everybody exhibited in my house. Should go live in there. My God, next one.
Oh, let's do it. We'll do it. You know what? I'll come and visit, and I'll bring the camera. And we'll do it that way.
The live feeds of dinner parties. It's insane. Oh my God, absolutely insane.
It's so awesome.
Miami's great. I love it here. I think you have to travel the world. I mean, you can't stay in any place too long.
Is there one place that you haven't been that you would love to go to?
I've been everywhere. I just think that Italy is like the place that it's like it has all the demons and it has all the incredible offerings of the world. The rich. It's the 13th grade. I think everybody should go. To take.
Is there a particular place in Italy that feels most home to you?
Rome was a really great place. I have a love-hate relationship with it. Italy's so difficult politically, and you're never part of the fabric. You have to be born there. You'll never understand the institutions. You'll never understand the processes. It's going to the post office, having to know somebody, getting a job. You can't get a job. I mean, you can't knock on a door and say, I want to work. It's impossible. It's just like, there's so many hurdles and they still prevail. It's like unbelievable. The wars and famine, poverty, bombs. I mean, they persevere. It's unbelievable. It's a lesson to be learned. I mean, people are like, so like, touchy and feely in this country about things. And it's like, go to Europe and see how they've had to endure. It's really remarkable. I mean, I tell Flavio that all the time. It's like, you'll never know the systems until you live there. I mean, I lived there before the internet, so imagine how difficult it was. It was really hard. Graduating from Columbia and going there and thinking I was going to be like this, And the only job that you could see in the newspaper is selling Encyclopedia Britannica back there. That was in 91.
Wow.
So, I mean, like my lover was a surgeon, so he's like, you don't have to work. I'm like, that's not going to work very long. And I'm like,
right.
Really creating and wanting to like work and workaholic. But, I made it. I mean, it was knowing somebody. Everybody, you have to know somebody. It's like the Wella Balsa commercial. So and so, and so on and so on and so on. It's like really, really tough.
Yeah.
It is there, whatever. It's a problem. But I mean, now with the immigration, everything, it's really tough. It's like gross. The world is a tough place now, I find.
It feels that way. I'm curious if it is tougher or we just have more cameras. It's like
everything's so like compartmentalized and labeled and monitored. And so back in the day, it was like very like footloose and fancy free and you let your hair down. I think that the lack of relaxation in people creates like this angst.
Yes. Yeah.
The next thing. It's like if you don't just like chill and like savor the now.
Yes.
It's all worthless, really.
But all we have is now. That's it.
Perfect concept. I'm like, why am I worrying about that? But it's like I have now to.
Yeah.
I think that's a big problem.
Yeah, and I think technology feeds on that as well. It's like it's been a blessing and a curse at the same time. we're getting more and more things fed at us all day, and our dings going off, and it's taking us away from the moment more than ever before.
Like Googling something and it'll come up in your ads. It's like, wow.
Yeah. Oh, so I was on the phone. It was so funny. I was on the phone with Blake, talking to him, and we started talking about Bangkok. And literally within like 5 hours or something, I had an Instagram feed about some shop in Bangkok, and it's just like, man.
I have a bunch of friends that are there right now. TP Lords is there.
Yeah, I love Bangkok. It's amazing.
I haven't been there.
Oh man. And that Songkran that they throw, that festival, that production, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Well, they don't play, you know. It's like I did Tokyo, I did Agia with all them. I loved it. Patsy Mites brought me there. I was like big in that like hetero prog house.
Right.
That was like it was a big world though.
Yeah.
It's kind of like turned into techno, I guess, you know, whatever. But I traveled a lot for that. I used to love it. But I did it. It's so difficult flying in now and everything. It's like I remember going to the airport all dolled up and, you know, the actors on the plane and all that. I mean, as a kid, now it's like just like going anywhere is such a mission. Oh, I'd much rather click my heels and say there's no place like home. I'm getting very able today. My heels are clicking.
My cha-cha heels are clicking. That's hilarious. Well, I'm glad that we got a chance to talk. And we've been trying to do this for a hot minute, so I really appreciate you.
A long time. Been a long time.
It has. We'll do it again. I'll come there and we'll do it straight from the house.
We covered a lot of bases.
We did. So anybody who is listening right now that might be struggling with some sort of an illness, what do you want to say to them?
You got to just like put your feet in the ocean, cleanse, think positive thoughts, and this too shall pass.
I love that.
It's like, you know, my 104-year-old grandmother used to say, like, you know, pensa la salute, think of your health. Pensa la salute, think of your health first. Just like you did with your mind. I mean, and your state.
Yeah.
And look how good everything's going for you.
Yeah, I know. I'm grateful. Awesome. Well, thank you. I love you, and I will see you soon. I'm gonna link everything up, and I'll let you know when this will go live and all that good stuff.
Okay, love.
All right. I hope to see you soon. Big kiss.
Love you.
Big kiss. Love you. If you see Flavio, give him a hug for me.
I will do.
All right. Bye.
Ciao, baby.
So that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Alan as much as I did. If you do, head on over to the Remix Your World Facebook group and let us know. Or if you are an IG person, that's where I am the most. Hit me up on IG and let me know what resonated with you. If you are a subscriber in iTunes, I would love for you to rate and review. I would actually really love that. It would make me feel so warm and fuzzy. And who doesn't want to make me feel warm and fuzzy? I mean, it's okay. I can make myself feel warm and fuzzy. Hello? But if you love the episode, let us know. And if you have any other ideas or people that you want to hear, podcast at remixyourworld.com or DM me at IG, and I will do my best to get them on. Thank you so much for spending time with me and Alan today. I'm going to link all of his information in the show notes so that you can go and follow him if you don't already. And I will see you soon on the next episode. Take care.